Well, if that doesn't get you all excited, I don't know what will. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon here in the U.S. Good evening in Europe. Sawubona, South Africa. Goeiedag. Tumela, Botswana. Hello in New Zealand, folks around the world. Hey, Yanni, Ursula, welcome aboard, everybody. Glad to see you here today on what will hopefully be a historic day, the 27th of May, 2020, when the United States finally returns to manned spaceflight here in the U.S. We've been relying on the Russians launching ships out of Kazakhstan for the last 9 years, and the NASA space program has been on its knees when it's come to manned exploration. But here we are today, the 27th of May, less than 1 hour away, although weather is proving to be a bit of a challenge. 1 hour away. Look at that hair. My hair is out of control there, ladies and gentlemen. Less than 1 hour away from the launch of the NASA SpaceX Demo 2 flight to the International Space Station with 2 U.S. astronauts on board. We are waiting for that launch to take place in just a short distance off. Well, let me say hello to some of the folks who've tuned in here. For those of you who don't know it, what you heard in the background was Giselle with one of her exciting songs, Jump, 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 Spring, Spring, Spring. So yeah, for the astronauts sitting now for over 2 hours in their dragging capsule on the launch pad at Cape Canaveral. Get ready to spring, 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 gentlemen. Those rockets are supposed to launch in less than 1 hour from now. You may notice a slightly different background behind me today. This is the blanket that was from the Las Vegas Sevens tournament for HSBC tournament last year. It's the closest thing I have that was handy for something with a space motif with the stars on both sides. There you go. Celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Vegas Sevens and the last year that it was held in Las Vegas, much to the chagrin of many fans like myself who enjoyed the fact that it was in Las Vegas. But anyway, folks, welcome aboard. Thanks for tuning in to the program today. This is Chris coming to you from Central Pennsylvania on what may likely be a historic day for the U.S. space program, as we can say foot sec to the Russians, at least in the short term, for getting folks back into manned spaceflight. Kind of exciting for all of us. Let's see who we've got here. I want to say hello to some folks. Daga Boy, good to see you there. Yeah, that was spring, 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 just to get your spirits up, ladies and gentlemen. HBM Air says, hi, guys, for the first manned launch for SpaceX. Well, yes, and it's the first manned launch in the U.S. since 2011. One small step for man, one giant leap for Musk bank account. Yeah, folks, SpaceX is a space exploration company that is specializing in launch capsules and rockets and recovery equipment. They also with the software to run all these things. SpaceX has 8,000 employees. That's not a small thing to sneeze at. That's larger than most South African companies, for those of you in South Africa. Malin Husk. I'm going to guess that Malin Husk is a play on Elon Husk name there. 2.5 hours away from witnessing the beginning of a new era in space travel. Yeah, you must have came in early. Kyle, let's see. Lizanne, thanks for being here. Who else? Christophe, good to see you. 800,000 viewers on NASA's channel. That is correct. Absolutely. In fact, I don't have that up, and the intent was to have that up. So let me work on that really quickly here while we chat about that. So where's everybody coming in from? Just send me a quick note so I can see where everybody's coming in from. And I will get to the NASA stream in the background. And we'll get that going here just a minute. All right, it's here somewhere. There it is. Okay. Yep. Let me get that launch going here. Live in the back. The Crew Dragon launch is what we're expecting to take place here. Okay. Put that on mute. All right. So this thing should be live. Okay. We're 53 minutes now from launch, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting times here in the U.S. All right. Let me go ahead and load this sucker up and get it on the screen there so that you can see that instead of just me. But welcome everybody to the stream. Happy to have you here. Good to see you. We're going to talk about the space program here in the U.S. and what's been happening. I got to do a new one here. So, okay. Sorry about this. I thought I had this ready beforehand, but for those of you who know, I have a little trouble for some reason with my Streamlabs OBS. I don't know what that is. And now it's not showing it. There we go. There we go. It's loading it now. Okay. All right, there you go. That's
both
a live
my
feed
wife
coming
and I
from,
to have gone
NASA.
through the process of seeing each other launch in space. I've seen her take that risk and had it be in front of her, and I've done that to her. And there's just something different about watching a rocket launch when there are people on board. You feel a little bit differently about the pit of your stomach, and I can only tell you it's multiplied significantly when it's somebody that you know, and then somebody, of course, that's a family member. It's even multiplied more.
For me personally, as a spouse,
watching everything that Bob has put into this over the last 5 years, the dedication that he's shown, the perseverance is pretty special for both of us, though. The way our minds work, it won't be until sort of the mission is complete that you have really a chance to savor it and celebrate it. This is a huge accomplishment for an Air Force flight test engineer to be part of the demonstration mission of a brand new vehicle. It's going to be amazing. Lots of South Africans here.
Without a partner that has that same appreciation, I think it can be challenging for some folks. There's a lot of work and a lot of time that takes away from family that my spouse appreciates, and I love her for that.
Okay, let me get rid of that. All right, that should take care of it. Does that help, folks? Sorry about that. Yeah, that sound should go away now. I'm not so sure why that was there. So let me get rid of that. All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to bring it back up again, and I will hopefully get this working properly. There we go. All right, so got that, and we'll do this again. Anyway, so yeah, the two astronauts going up today, both of them have combined about 1,300 hours of space flight time, and it's pretty exciting to see these guys go back, but neither of them have been in space for quite some time. So it's quite an interesting situation. They have not been up since 2011 is the most recent one. So that should be interesting to see these guys go up. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about them in just a moment here as I get this thing going here. See if I can try it again. All right, see if it's cooperating. It is cooperating that time. Hopefully the sound is off. Double check to make sure the sound is off. Sound should be off. Okay, good. Right, okay, so that's in the background. We're going to move that up. I can't get rid of the chat for some reason. Just hide it up there for now. Yeah, so let's talk about the astronauts. Who we got going here, folks? Hey, we've got a fair number of folks tuning in. Thanks for joining us today. This is Chris coming to you with Indaba, Africa from central Pennsylvania. In what is quite an exciting time here in the United States, is it's our chance to get ahead of the Chinese again and perhaps have them in the background as we return to manned spaceflight. Let me get this on top. That is not cooperating. Right. Anyway, so the Chinese have been making a concerted effort to put a moon launch into place and build a base on the dark side of the moon. No, that's not a joke. That's not from a song. That's actually what they intend to do, is put a base on the dark side of the moon. So that will be coming up from the Chinese in just a few short years. They hope to do that before the end of the decade. In the meantime, SpaceX, the dream of Elon Musk, a South African, for those of you in South Africa, something to be quite proud of, one of the founders of PayPal, where he made his fortune, and then later founded Tesla for his electric cars, and now SpaceX. SpaceX came out of an idea of his, which he sketched to have the Mars Oasis, which was supposed to be greenhouses to prepare Mars for human settlement back in 2001, 2002. In 2002, he founded SpaceX, and here we are nearly 20 years later, SpaceX with its Falcon 9 rocket and its Dragon crew capsule, manned by astronauts from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, here in the United States, is sitting on the launch pad at Cape Canaveral. We're about 50 minutes away from launch at this point, and the weather has been dicey. We will see if it goes forward. If it does, I will silence my mic as we get down to the bottom of the hour and leave it simply so that you see just what's happening from NASA. In the meantime, well, they can't hear me. Can't hear me. I don't understand how you can't hear me. That's strange. Anyway.
They'll come back.
Okay, audio's fine. Sorry, you guys confused me. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, that was from before. Maybe I was behind on the chat a little bit there. Audio's fine. Okay. But yeah, so thanks a lot. Sorry about that. So yeah, so this is the first manned space launch since 2011 here in the United States. NASA has two astronauts going up, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley. Now, this, as I mentioned, is the Crew Dragon capsule. It's currently sitting on top of a 230-foot SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, which will launch it into orbit. Once the astronauts reach orbit, it'll take 19 hours after launch before they link up with the International Space Station. This will be the first time the U.S. space program for manned flight has not had to rely on Russia and the launch site in Kazakhstan since 2011. And hopefully we're getting ahead of China getting back into space with manned flight. Bob Behnken, who's 49, and his crewmate Doug Hurley were both military test pilots before they joined NASA back in 2000. So they've been in the NASA space program for 20 years now. The space agency, of course, has a long history of using test pilots from the military, going back to the Mercury program, who spend hundreds of hours flying around in experimental supersonic aircraft, so they get all sorts of experience with the sort of things that might occur in a launch in spaceflight. So these two gentlemen happen to be longtime friends and both attended each other's weddings, so that's kind of interesting. So Bob Behnken was quoted as saying, "It's probably a dream of every test pilot school student to have the opportunity to fly on a brand new spaceship." Well, this is definitely a brand new spaceship, folks. and quite an exciting time. Yeah, it's, in the midst of the Wuhan coronavirus, COVID-19, it's nice to have something to cheer about and be excited about for a change. And here we are, once again, excited. Hundreds of thousands, over 500,000 people tuning in to the live stream, not my live stream, but to the live stream from NASA. Thank you for the folks who've tuned in here to listen to my commentary before we get to the launch here at the bottom of the hour. But quite an exciting time. I can't remember this much excitement about the U.S. space program, with the exception of the New Horizons as it approached Pluto. There was a lot of excitement to build up for that. But the last time I saw this much excitement was back in the 80s with the space shuttle program. It was kind of sad to see after the Apollo program, the amount of interest from the public dwindling and waning during the space shuttle program, which for me as a young man was quite exciting. I watched all the space shuttle launches, including, tragically, the Challenger launch in 1986. I remember I was a soldier stationed in Germany and had been to the range that day to qualify with my rifle. And I was back cleaning my rifle, watching the launch take place on television when I watched that tragedy happen. It's still seared in my memory to this day. God rest their souls. May they rest in peace. But Space Mosul Bay. Hey, Wendy, welcome there. Wendy Vroom. Okay, is that really your surname or is that just a nickname, Vroom? That's kind of cool. T-minus 45. Thank you, Bush. Yeah, so Bob Bankin, who I mentioned, is the Joint Operations Commander for this particular mission. He'll be responsible for some of SpaceX Crew Dragon spaceship's major milestones, including docking with the International Space Station and undocking. So that'll be his primary responsibility.